The idea behind Evernorth is like really to make it easier for folks to buy, hold, and get exposure to XRP. It's like, let's make it as easy as buying Tesla stock in your brokerage account. I wanted to see the XRP ecosystem grow. And so I started thinking about what would make it easier for institutions to develop products, or for developers to build more products on the XRP ledger and other blockchains as well.
So with regards to Evernorth, how are you going to be buying the XRP and how are you going to be custodying it?
Yeah, so we'll be using all mechanisms available to buy XRP on the market.
This episode is brought to you by Uphold, which is a great crypto platform that makes it easy to buy, sell, and stake crypto assets. Uphold has over 300 plus cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin and all the top altcoins, and they offer a crypto staking on over 19 crypto assets. I've been a user of the platform for many years. They are safe and reliable. They don't commingle or lend out your crypto funds, and they are 100% reserved. You can review their transparency report. Uphold also offers an amazing rewards program where you can earn up to 5.25% on stablecoins. This rewards program also allows you to get 24-hour early access to new tokens that they list. And to participate, you just simply have to open the app once per month, deposit $50 once per month, and trade $50 once per month. And the stablecoins that they support includes Ripple's RLUSD. You can earn up to 5% on that stablecoin and 5.25% on USBC. So if you'd like to learn more about Uphold and all the great services they offer, visit the link in the description. Hey folks, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast. I'm your host, Tony Edward, and joining me today is Asheesh Birla, who is the CEO of Evernorth, which is an XRP-focused digital asset treasury company. Asheesh, great to have you.
Tony, thank you again for having me on your pod. And well, I want to thank you, Tony. You've been such a big supporter of the entire XRP ecosystem through the thick, through the thin. Thank you for all your support. You're one of the good guys out there.
Appreciate that. And the last time we saw each other or even spoke to each other was last year, Ripple Swell in Miami. I think we were both a little drunk, but it was good times.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a good time to see you, Tony. Miami is a great city. I'll be in New York for the, Ripple's Swell conference. I'm excited to MC that event, and then I'll be speaking on a panel as well, moderated by Michael Arrington, about Evernorth.
Yeah, it's exciting. Asheesh, so, after you left Ripple, was this the project you were working on or were you doing other things?
Yeah, so I stayed connected to the crypto ecosystem. Over the time, on a personal behalf, I've made over 20 digital asset and infrastructure investments in the crypto space, mainly because I believe in this space, for the long term. And I wanted to see the XRP ecosystem grow, but I think it needed more infrastructure around it. It was still too hard to build products in crypto in general. And so I started thinking about, well, what would make it easier for institutions to develop products? What would make it easier for developers to build more products on the XRP ledger and other blockchains as well?
Absolutely. And Asheesh, I mean, we went through a very hard time, 4 years of Gary Gensler, but it seems like that the tide has changed. The industry is being embraced by the United States. And how are you feeling about this new environment and, TradFi and all these companies now coming in and building?
You've seen stable coins, just get the Genius Act passed. And within a few months, it's already up 20% in terms of market cap post, Genius Act becoming, law. And you're going to see that same ecosystem development as new laws are passed in government. But again, Tony, you hit it on the head. The administration is behind innovative technologies like blockchain. And by the way, this should sound familiar because in the 90s, the government got behind the internet. And now you see post 90s, the growth in the internet. But again, good regulation, good legislation helps spur innovation and growth. And we're going to see that with blockchain as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And many people are waiting for the Clarity Act specifically to pass. You mentioned the Genius Act specifically for stablecoins, but the market structure has the meat and potatoes. And I can't wait to see post Clarity Act passing what innovators and entrepreneurs do. I'm excited to see the innovation.
Agreed. I think there's waiting demand for folks to join, institutions to join. I think the rest of the world also looks at the United States and what they're doing on the regulatory and legislative front. And so, while we think it's a big deal in the United States, I'm also excited to see how the other nations around the world, some that have already been leaders in this space, pass local legislation to support this industry, because blockchain isn't a domestic technology. The beauty of this technology and the XRP ledger is that it's global in nature, and that's open in nature, and that really enables the world's financial institutions to build upon each other.
Yeah, Ashish, what do you think about this? Because this is something I've been noodling on and talking a lot about on the pod. You mentioned the openness and the reach that this technology has, a blockchain technology, the XRP ledger, and so forth. But it seems like for the first time, we will have truly global markets. There's some people who are going to say, well, what about gold? A lot of people around the world, different central banks hold gold, but you can't view it real time. You can't verify the amount in a storage or in a bank, or if it's real. You can't have an instant settlement. It's not portable. But I feel like this technology brings all those attributes that make it real time. I can look at it on my phone.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. It's real time. It's counterparty free. And you could see a world where folks over time move from gold in other assets into digital assets in other cryptocurrencies, like even for central banks, even for reserves, and treasuries. And I know we're going to talk about that today. Maybe that's the first step. So corporate treasuries, being the innovators, start holding digital assets through public equities, like what we're going to be building at Evernorth. And that is how things get started. But maybe in the future, you'll see central banks and others also want to hold digital assets on in their reserves. And I think that's going to be a very interesting future that'll unfold. But again, you started the conversation with regulation. Regulation's got to pass. It's got to pass globally.
For sure. So let's talk Evernorth. To give an overview of this company, what's the mission and why XRP was chosen as the digital asset?
Yeah. So the mission is really to make it easier for folks to buy, hold, and get exposure to XRP. It's for us, Tony. We've been in this space a long time. We know how to manage wallets. We know how to manage cryptocurrencies. But for the large part of the world, that is too difficult. For big institutions that want exposure to this asset class in XRP, that's too complicated. So the idea behind Evernorth is like, let's make it as easy as buying Tesla stock in your brokerage account, your E-Trade account, your Fidelity account, your Robinhood account. Just like you buy that stock, you can buy XRPN, the ticker for Evernorth, and you get exposure to XRP as an asset class. And we don't stop there. You also get to participate in the strategies that we'll develop at Evernorth, like yield strategies. And with those yield strategies, a portion of that yield that we generate will go back into the treasury. So we'll use that yield to buy more XRP and add to the treasury. And the goal here for Evernorth shareholders is to maximize XRP per share. And why did I choose XRP? I'll answer that question. Well, one, I really believe in this future that the financial world is going to be reformed, and there's going to be a revolution, and that revolution is going to start on a blockchain, and it's spurred by that innovation around the blockchain. And early on, the XRP creators decided that they wanted to build a blockchain that was optimized for financial use cases. This was back in 2012. Maybe that's mainstream now, but this is back in 2012 to create an ecosystem, to create a technology that's optimized for payments, that's optimized for tokenized assets. Today, we call those real world assets or RWAs, but the ability to have these equities, real estate, and so forth, tokenized and available for the world on a blockchain. That's what the XRP ledger and supporting technologies are good for. So, I decided XRP, obviously, with my, history, that made a lot of sense. But I also noticed, Tony, that there's no digital asset treasury of significance around XRP, and that made it a no-brainer. Let's go do it.
For sure. So would it be safe to say you're looking to become the MicroStrategy of XRP, MicroStrategy specifically focused on Bitcoin?
I'm excited about building on the XRP ecosystem. I think the world should know about what's going on in terms of financialization on a blockchain. And I think the world's going to look very different in 10 years than it is for now in the financial world, because of technologies like XRP, but also all the accompanied technologies that support the infrastructure around XRP, like the stablecoin, which is growing rapidly, that serves, Tony, as on and off ramps. That was a big piece that was missing. How do you get onto a blockchain? Well, stablecoins solves a part of that. And Evernorth helps institutions and retail investors get on and off and participate in the ecosystem, the DeFi ecosystem around the XRP ledger as well.
So with regards to Evernorth, and this is a rookie question because I'm still trying to grasp the idea fully of digital asset treasury companies. Is that a company that existed before with sort of services and products, or is it a brand new company specifically focused on the XRP Treasury, or does it have, like I said, other means of revenue and services and things like that?
No, we are 100% focused on XRP. We're building a digital asset treasury, but it's an active treasury, in that we will be putting the XRP to use. We have a a traditional strategy, and we have a DeFi strategy, and we want to use the XRP ecosystem to generate yield on the DeFi strategy side of things. That'll help that ecosystem flourish, but it'll also be good for the Evernorth digital asset treasury as well.
Let's double click a bit on the DeFi component, because that's going to be something many people are interested in, how you're generating the yield. Are you planning to use like protocols like Flare or other protocols?
So we're in discussions with a lot of the protocols out there. We have to close the transaction first before participating in those yield generation products. But part of the reason that Evernorth exists is to cultivate those yield strategies, build those yield strategies directly on the XRP ledger, and use XRP in the ecosystem to develop those yield strategies. And so I'm excited about that. I'm a longtime product builder. Nothing gets me more excited than see that ecosystem flourish. And again, I think one thing, Tony, that was missing was like, how do you get institutional capital to participate in that ecosystem? I mean, DeFi in general has been, humming along. It has been growing at an okay clip for the last 4 or 5 years. It has a lot of bumps and bruises, but this might be the missing sort of adapter connection. Now you have real capital coming in, and this is just the start to help get those DeFi protocols to mature and grow and really compete with the traditional finance world. And again, you saw that with stablecoins. You saw that with stablecoins as well, is that it was humming and hawing along for almost a decade. And then things got real when that regulation passed, and now institutions turning to stablecoins for adoption, for payments and other use cases. But you're going to see that same thing happen here in the decentralized finance world as well, with lending protocols and everything else that we haven't even imagined yet.
Absolutely. Um, Something that came to mind, and I've seen other DATs do this, and it may be too early for you to answer this question, but with the yield, is it going to be some of it paid out in a dividend or reinvested into the respective treasury?
Our plans right now are to, reinvest that into the treasury. Again, the metric that we are maximizing for is XRP per share.
Mm.
And that the plan is to get that yield and then go back into the treasury. So if that yield is giving us US dollars, we'll use a portion of that to eventually go back in and buy more XRP for the treasury.
Got it. That makes sense. A big question a lot of folks want to know is how you're going to be buying the XRP and how are you going to be custodying it? Are you buying OTC on the open market? Things along those lines.
Yeah, so we'll be using all mechanisms available to buy XRP on the market. It's still growing, Tony, the market, and so we want to make sure that we're balanced and measured in how we buy XRP for the treasury. So the good thing is we have a lot of experience, managing treasuries. We'll do the most efficient thing out there. But again, it's getting easier and easier. Back in the early days, there was just a couple of exchanges available. Now there's hundreds around the world that trade cryptocurrencies. And now you're seeing even bigger players jump into the ecosystem as well. So exciting to see this market develop, and it's also exciting to see XRP being the third largest digital asset volume wise, depending on the venue. But that makes it also very interesting in terms of a digital asset treasury, and that also makes it really interesting in the times of yield strategies that we could potentially deploy once this transaction closes.
Yeah, for sure. You mentioned the demand for XRP. We've seen a lot of spot ETF filings still on the table, waiting for the SEC to take action. In addition, you had XRP futures go live on the CME and so forth, and there's been a lot of institutional demand. So I think it's like perfect timing that you guys are launching this digital asset treasury company focused on XRP because how things have changed, Asheesh. I mean, obviously the SEC Ripple lawsuit has concluded after years of going back and forth. But the sun is shining down now on us, and the dark clouds have gone away, and there's a lot of demand for this asset.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a new day, Tony. Like it definitely feels like we started off as infants in this industry, and now we're becoming adults. And I'm happy to be part of the adult movement in digital assets. And part of that adult movement is getting institutions to adopt. I don't think this ecosystem, I don't think cryptocurrencies will flourish until there is broad-based adoption by institutions out there. And again, Evernorth is one tool to help get institutional adoption, making it easier to participate in the crypto economy, making it easier to participate in this financial future that will be built on blockchains. But there's going to be other tools that we need. We talked about regulation and the right kind of legislation, but we need more tools around there. ETFs being a great one, CME futures trading XRP, another great tool. And again, this is all part of the adult growing up process that the whole industry is now participating in. Thankfully.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I read you guys are raising $1 billion to buy XRP, of course. Is that a cap, or in the future you may raise additional capital? And who are the folks who have participated so far in the capital?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we'll stay active out there. We don't have any plans to stop, and so we'll as soon as the transaction is closed, we'll again look at additional opportunities. But the idea is not to stop at $1 billion in treasury. And I'm happy, Tony, to be supported by world-class investors. And one thing that we do want to do is expand internationally. You may know that XRP is widely popular in Korea and in Japan, and having SBI, participate in Evernorth's, financing, is going to potentially help unlock those Asian markets for us as well. So that post-close transaction, looking to those kinds of expansion opportunities, is going to be a high priority for the Evernorth team. And again, we're lucky to have world-class investors from SBI, Ripple, Arrington, XRP Capital, and several others join us in this journey.
Yeah, definitely. I remember SBI and I forgot the CEO, Yoshitaka Katao.
Katao-san.
Yeah.
Excellent leader.
Yeah. I remember following him over the years and the different things he would say and reading the SBI reports, quarterly reports and things like that. So it's awesome to see that they continue to participate in the ecosystem and much more.
Yeah, they have been excellent leaders and excellent partners over the years. And I'm very, very gracious that they are part of this journey as well at Evernorth.
So Asheesh, you got this trend, right? Digital asset treasury companies is growing. It's happening around the globe. Folks are using different crypto assets. How are you guys preparing for, let's say, a downturn in a bear market? Because one of the things that concern me is potentially some of these companies may not be managed well, and there could be some blow-ups in the bear market, or it might have to be some consolidation. But how are you guys preparing for a possible bear market and market downturns?
That's a great question, Tony. And hey, like I am also concerned as I look at other treasuries in the market that don't seem like they have formidable leadership teams or even full-time leadership teams. But what you get at Evernorth is a team that is purpose built for something like XRP Digital Asset Treasury in Evernorth. You get me that is as weathered as they come in crypto, having been in the industry since 2013 and seeing the winters, the summers, the falls, all four seasons, Tony. This doesn't, a downturn doesn't faze me. There are, some of the best opportunities are available in downturns. What you have to do is plan for the long term. And that's what this team is about. We stick with things. We build for the long term. We don't get too high in the highs. We don't get too low in the lows. We sort of stay even keeled and build it out. So, in the downturns, we'll be ready. And there are opportunities for those that are patient.
For sure. Now, I saw, and correct me if I'm wrong, a listing on the Nasdaq that got approved this week. What can you tell us there, and can both retail and institutional investors access it?
So what you saw was was the ticker symbol XRPN go live, and that ticker symbol is now tradable on the Nasdaq. We expect that to happen sometime in Q1 of 2026.
Got it. Okay, so my next question was going to be if the government shutdown is slowing things down for you guys as it is with everything else.
But hey, listen, it might be slowing things down for the government, but we're busy here at Evernorth. We're busy thinking about how to leverage the XRP ecosystem. We're thinking about how to build the right kind of risk tools out there so that we can scale in the right way. Are we gonna measure twice and cut once? That's our plan. So that kind of tooling is really important for these digital asset treasuries to scale, especially if you want to participate in the decentralized finance ecosystem, DeFi. You need to have the right kind of risk tools. You need to have the right kind of experience and have that built ahead of time. And so those are things that we can, continue to build and plan for. And the SEC and the government, there's not much I can do other than call a couple of folks saying, let's speed it up. But the rest of the world is doing the same thing. So, we're back here busy building.
For sure. Yeah. That, we can't control that, right? The government, it is what it is. We're all in the same boat there. Um, but we got a bunch of XRP ETFs. I know I mentioned it earlier. A lot of spot ETFs that they're going to be approved by the SEC. I'm curious what your take is on the dynamic between a digital asset treasury company versus an ETF. And I know the DATs give a new pathway for people to invest. What is your take on the two products? And they seem to be competing in a way. And how do you think that all plays out?
Well, hey, listen, like the great thing is we're even having this discussion around, XRP ETFs and digital asset treasuries. Like, who would have thought a couple of years ago that we would even have these discussions? So, hey, the industry is maturing. If the industry continues to grow together, all these different players are going to do well. And the XRP ETFs and the other ETFs out there, hey, there's potential collaborations there as well. But I'd say one big difference between an ETF, Tony, and a digital asset treasury like Evernorth is that with Evernorth, it's an active treasury. We are going to be looking at yield strategies to maximize XRP per share. And I think if you want that kind of exposure, Evernorth is the right kind of product for you. But ETFs, it's a very limited kind of product, which is great for a different kind of investor. But I almost see them as two different kinds of products out there. Some people want the minivan, some people want the car. There's a market for passenger car. There's markets for both, right? And like this kind of specialization is good overall for the crypto economy and the ecosystem. It's great for XRP as well.
Yeah, well said. We have the buffet of options, right? Pick your option that you want and whatever you're comfortable with. You mentioned like you and I are kind of like OGs, so we're okay being go buying on the exchange, throw it in a hardware wallet, but not everybody is going to be open to doing that or want to do that. So the DATs are a great option, the ETF. So it just depends on your preference.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. It's like, this is something that I can just, you could go tell your mom, Tony, is like, just go to, Robinhood or E-Trade and you can participate now in the crypto, economy. And again, to your point, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, imagine telling someone that you've got to go get a wallet. You got to be very secure about the wallet. And if you want to earn yield on that, now you got to move it to this chain, and it's just too complicated. Let's make it easier for everyone around the world to participate in this new financial revolution. That's what products like Evernorth.
Yeah, great point. You mentioned everyone around the world. This is going to be a dumb question on my part, and it applies to DATs. But I know that only certain markets can access, like the New York Stock Exchange or the Nasdaq. So would the same rules apply here, that whichever markets around the world can access the Nasdaq will get access to this stock?
Yeah, at launch, at close, once the transaction is approved, then you'd be able to access Evernorth through XRP and the ticker symbol on the Nasdaq, available, in your brokerage accounts. And then, the next plan after that would be looking at how we tackle international markets. And there are a number of different strategies there. But again, Japan and Korea are interesting markets for Evernorth, and we'll start charting out plans to attack those markets as well.
It may be too early to answer this question, but we see, Asheesh, the race for tokenizing stocks happening, right, with big institutions. So would that be an option that you're going to explore? And again, maybe too early, but that could be on the table.
Yeah, our goal here is to make this accessible, and a stock, buying XRPN as a stock is one step towards making it more accessible. And we're not going to, stop at exploring new opportunities, even outside of Evernorth. I'm super excited about tokenized equities. I think it's going to give, folks around the world a chance to participate in the global financial economy in ways that they couldn't do before, especially in emerging markets. And just like folks can hold US dollars via stablecoins around the world, folks are going to be able to do that with all sorts of other kinds of real world assets, equities, real estate, debt. They're going to be able to do that via this tokenization frontier. And again, I'm excited that that technology, tokenization and payments, is what the XRP ledger is good for. And again, that ecosystem can thrive on the XRP ledger because of all the supporting technologies, like I mentioned, these stable coins as well that are growing rapidly. That'll help serve as a catalyst for that kind of growth in terms of this new world economy around tokenization.
Asheesh, I'm still trying to grasp what the future looks like with markets, because on the topic of tokenization, where you have a lot of assets on the blockchain, whether it be real estate, precious metals, stocks, of course, and different types of equities, and then you have 24/7 trading, and are we going to drive ourselves nuts, right? Or are we going to have AI agents, monitoring our portfolios and maybe doing some trading while we're sleeping, right? And but more liquidity, more options, because you're dealing with people across the globe who you couldn't have participated with in the past, because you had to go through those stakeholders, the big banks and so forth, and the big trading firms. But now somebody in Hong Kong, I can deal directly with them via DeFi, and we don't even need to know each other.
Yeah. So So listen, there's a lot that needs to happen for 24/7 trading. And you hit on one big portion of it was liquidity. You need liquidity support and monitoring, 24/7. And hey, certainly AI is an interesting technology that could potentially help there. But remember, when you first got access to the internet, I remember that first time of reading the newspaper. In my case, the Detroit News sports section, and it was only updated one time per day. And then eventually, because the internet is real time, they had to compete and they had to update content all day long. And the same thing is going to happen, in my opinion, with liquidity and trading online. You can buy Bitcoin and XRP 24/7 for sure. But again, that's not available to equities today in most markets. So I have a feeling, and it's my prediction and my belief, that DeFi is going to push the rest of these markets to 24/7 trading. There will be a scramble, but 24/7 liquidity around all these different products, that doesn't exist today, and it's going to need to be automated in some fashion to scale. It's just you can't survive doing it the old way with rigid market closes. That's not the way crypto works. It's not the way the world works, which is sort of like the beauty of this whole technology.
Yeah, for sure. It's a brave new world, and we see now even the stock markets are trying to copy I wouldn't say necessarily copy, but they have to keep up, and they're trying to expand their opening and closing times to be 24/7 where possible. So it's just interesting how things are changing. There's something I think you may have touched on, but I want to make sure I confirm. Are you going to be using RLUSD stablecoin in any way in the treasury, or maybe in paying out certain things or running through the ecosystem and things like that?
Hey, we definitely want to partner with leading stable coins around the world. It just happens that the RLUSD, the Ripple stablecoin, is growing really quickly. Hey, every blockchain, including the XRP ledger, needs on and off ramps, and we're excited about the growth there because you need to get onto the DeFi ecosystem, you need to get off the DeFi ecosystem. But at the same time, we're an XRP Treasury. And so we want to make sure that we are, optimizing for XRP. But getting onto those decentralized protocols, I have a feeling that Ripple, RLUSD, the stablecoin, is going to play a big part in that.
That's awesome. Asheesh, I think one thing I want to get your thoughts on, because when you were working at Ripple, of course, you guys were speaking to a lot of institutions, a lot of banks and so forth. And I mean, just for example, this week it was announced that Citibank is partnering with Coinbase to offer crypto services, JP Morgan, PNC Bank. What is it like seeing all of these firms who at one point some were against crypto, but now they're embracing it and everybody's coming into the same ecosystem?
That's I love seeing it. I mean, I know a lot of folks are anti-bank. From very early on when I joined crypto, I really did feel this was about bringing the entire ecosystem. And listen, the capital in the world is still managed by large banks, and you need them to be part of this ecosystem. Just like the internet today is not just about individual bloggers. You have big firms like Disney pushing content over the internet. And so combined, yes, you had a lot of new players, but yes, you had the traditional players as well that really made the internet what it is today. Now you can get TV, sports, everything over the internet. And that's why it scaled. And you need that same thing to happen with crypto as well. Can't just be about speculators and the retail audience. You need the retail audience and you need institutions. And again, listen, I think a big reason why they didn't participate early on was because they had it good.
Sure.
They didn't have to innovate to be 24/7. Why? Nothing pushed them. And what was pushing them now is this technology. Certainly, regulation improving also was a catalyst. But again, the consumer sort of dictates a lot of these banking, industry players and their behavior. And the consumer has spoken up that they want this technology. They want faster payments enabled by stable coins. And they will, in a few years, in my belief, want more access to the DeFi ecosystem as well.
Yeah, well said. It's amazing the world of opportunities is that this technology is opening up, and it's just so exciting. And like I said earlier, I can't wait for the Clarity Act to pass and to see the innovation boom that follows. You mentioned like the internet and the government got it right in the 90s, and what followed was amazing. Google, Amazon, and much more in the world. How we're communicating right now, right? It's incredible. Asheesh, great stuff. Looking forward to the launch on the Nasdaq as far as publicly traded and so forth. And looking forward to celebrating with you guys. But thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Tony. And again, you're so wonderful to speak with. And, I love everything that you're doing, but I also just love all your support over the years. You're definitely one of the good guys.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.